Dihan, you are here. Dihan, our secretary, is not here. So his life is also changed. He married from Kotmale. So, I mean, that's the one single achievement of because of Kotmale. Oh, Dihan is here? Oh, okay. So, Dihan, not Gihan, Dihan, our secretary to the ISOC. Yeah, oh yes, product is also here. So you can see what kind of achievement. There, I sent 3 students, and one eloped, the other one married. Right? so the Kotmale not only had internet, but there were so many other things also impact. So the radio program, you will see I am doing the radio program there with David now. He's in England. He's doing with the BBC, and he is doing the Sinhala program there. What is it called? Sandesha. That's a line of sight. But you see the society, suddenly there were a lot of things. That particular point, I remember going there in 2000 I think, 2001. There were little kids. And after sometimes later, recently, I was at ISOC, and I wanted them to be members. And they came back and said, yeah, I'm a web developer, you know. So it's something had changed. There was an impact on their lives. So subsequently, we did another project, very interesting, called a virtual village project. And that was also IDRC funded. We had a Wi-Fi and CDMA. The time that we were doing that, the Wi-Fi, the very interesting one was, there were a couple of, there was USAID experts came to Kotmale. And they said there was something called Wi-Fi. So that was in somewhere in 2000. So I was, they gave me 3 manuals, white papers on this. So I took that one and I wrote this. 2 of us wrote the project, and we got funding. But the sociological impact was just amazing. I mean, this morning I was doing about this, looking at it, sociological impact. There were 2 temples that we had these. There was one in Hatton, which is about 115 kilometers away from here. And other one is in Gampaha district, we did this. And the Gampaha, the temple, it started very nicely. And I think Ruan was also there, right? And ultimately what happened was, we almost shut down that temple because of this virtual village project. And in fact, we have written about it, and I think, I remember Star Trek, you know, when I don't know how many of you watch Star Trek, and I love Star Trek. So the Star Trek, the main theme is when you go in there, you don't meddle with you don't give the technology, or you don't change the society, right? You're supposed to stay away from it and don't do anything. What it means is we should not do anything to that particular, like not giving that when they go from the future. When you come from the future, you don't change anything. Or when you go from any other society. So what we did was, we did something almost was a disaster. So anyway, subsequently we realized all of these things. You know, the internet has enormous amount of power, right? I mean, that power that you are being felt right now. When you see what's happening in Middle East right now, and what's happening with WikiLeaks, when the Facebook, all of these, there's a lot of power in there. Well, anyway, I won't just go ahead, but then there are nice, good ones also. I have a lot of good, nice things also talk about. I think there are failures, but there are good things about it. ICT development plan under East Sri Lanka had, right now we talk about increase on network readiness. Yesterday that we talked about that. There are 600, out of this we learned all of these things, and we have transferred that to Nanasalas, right? Today, Nanasalas, there are 603, and I used to think telecenters are like, almost all the telecenters that I had looked at, they had some sort of, I was really worried that they could take on their own. Sri Lanka has a very interesting thing I should tell you. Out of a lot of these telecenters, at least, I think, more than 1/3 are success. And I have here, in fact, there are a couple of ones, actually, Jayant and I were discussing this afternoon. And we were talking about this, and I was asking certain things. And we have a Katavali village, there's a BP operations, right? And then Hinguragoda, then the Sinigama we were talking about, there's a BPO. BPO in Sri Lanka, from Colombo, people are giving work to this village level. So it's quite an interesting stories. I would like you to go and see those. I think where you will learn a lot. Now, I started talking to some of these telecenters. I had a lot of opportunity of talking to them, and I myself learned. And you can learn a lot from these telecenters. Sri Lanka has a very interesting project. Then another thing we did was, so those days, I think Professor Gihan was also, in 2002, I remember we were thinking about this and were wondering what should be done to bring them together. So one of the greater program was the localization. So what we did was we got the Sinhala, and Dr. Ruan is also here. So what happened ultimately? We were trying to make it a vertical. Now, the other day over the weekend, we were talking about here the delegates that we were discussing about all our societies, what is happening. They were saying, and I saw that in Bhutan, they were saying that there is no hierarchy. Everybody is, horizontal. Everyone is coming up together. So they don't talk about leadership. Now in Asia, we always talk about a hierarchy. Hierarchy is actually we are breaking the hierarchy. We are basically our kids actually coming up. So there were a lot of we were arguing about it. We were talking about whether it's a good or bad. That we were talking about this. So anyway, one of the interesting is that because of this, we are creating a horizontal society, and we are all coming up. So now, good things about this is e-learning. We can do a scaling up. Now, some of the things that we do it in Sri Lanka right now. We use the e-learning, and so we can, with the faculties, we don't have enough, but because of internet, because of e-learning, we can bring a lot of our students, we can reach a lot of students, and we can educate. So how do we look like the future? Now, I just went there for a past, so we have a lot of things, and we can argue until 6 o'clock this evening, but I don't want to do that. I just want to go to the future. So how does the ISOC looks like? Now, if you look at, there are 3 scenarios that ISOC talks about. The first scenario is win-win price. In that, what they have done is it's hidden. So whenever you have a service, that gets charged for that software also. So the software is free. Basically, but the service when you give, that you pay for the service. So having these, the collaboration, and we have, but for the open source things, actually, for us, idea of collaboration is not unique, not foreign to us. Open source works very well. That's why Sanjay is not here. I think I didn't see Sanjay. Yesterday I was arguing with him, and he was saying for Asian cultures, the idea of open source is exactly within us, built in, right? I don't know whether if you look at our authors, when the famous books, Dulip knows, you have mentioned what the author is, right? You never mention who the author is. So the idea is collaboration is built in. The people, by the way, numerals, if you look at the Arabic numerals, we don't know actually, that's one of the biggest invention of zero, is one of the greatest achievement. And the numerals that was started in India went to the West. But do you know, anybody knows who has actually really came up with the numerals? No one knows. The inventor is just totally forgotten and is an anonymous inventor. But that's one of the greatest things in the human history. So it is for us communal existence. That means together, community-wise, it's something. So for us to adopt open source is a very easy thing to do. So the hierarchy, of course, as I said, I think it will diminish from our culture. Slowly, and we had upheavals trying to do that in 1971, you guys know. But the future, it will be a transitional period. I think because of internet, more and more it will diminish. So it will linger on for some time, and it will adopt a different way. So anyway, so I will finish. Thank you very much. But I am looking at the future to think of it as a brighter future rather than a gloomy picture. But I have certain fears about this tagging and the privacy issues. Other than that, I see a bright future for all of us, because the community generally can benefit if we were to keep these things tightened. That is, we need to make sure that that the privacy issues, actually jurisdictional issues, if we take into consideration, and also it should not become 1984. So if you don't that, I think this is going to be a brighter future. Thank you.